So yesterday for the weekly reset, Bungie gave everyone a Valentine's gift, and I made a video about that, and that was cool and all, but it kind of got me thinking, like, why did Bungie not just bring back Crimson Days? Because, like, we're doing these events in game now more than ever. We have Arms Week going on all the time and stuff like that. We have the Call to Arms event that rotates in and out, I guess, like seasonally. I assume is how that's going to work. Like, I think we'll probably get it back in Shadow and Order, I think is what Bungie said. But either way, it's kind of weird to me that with all these events going on, Bungie doing more in game events than ever, Crimson Days wouldn't be on their rotation because it's the only event that they've completely abandoned other than Revelry. I don't understand why, because it was something that already had precedent in the game way back in Destiny 1. And I know people didn't really enjoy the final year of it, but that was more so a content issue than it was the event, I feel like. There was just nothing to really get or do in the event on the last year that it was around. But when it was around in 2019 and 2018, I remember people liking it. I played a ton of it back in 2018 and honestly enjoyed it. And I'm not like, I hate Destiny PvP most of the time, but I had a lot of fun playing doubles. And I think I went on like a 50 win streak or something like that. I don't know. It was a lot of fun though. But when you log into the game this week, beyond just the Crimson Days like little bundle thing, not Crimson Days bundle, but the Valentine's Day bundle thing, when you log into the game and go to the Eververse store this week, they have all the Crimson Days stuff laid out there. The heart sign emote, they've got the Crimson Shell over there for you to buy, the Undefeated Sparrow, and they even have the ornament for Shot Through the Heart is the name of it for the Vow, which is the bow from Crimson Days, obviously from I think 2019. The funny thing about that is I don't even think you can get this bow anymore, like at all. I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe you can pull it from collection, but if you didn't claim it like back in the day, I have no clue if you can even get a hold of this thing. And it makes it even more curious, like why is this even being sold? Like you kind of feel that way when they sell any of the old legendary ornaments because they haven't made legendary ornaments for weapons in years and years. I think they did away with that way back, maybe even in like Shadowkeep or Beyond Light, somewhere around there. They completely axed it. I believe it was like when they announced that they were sunsetting in the first place because they obviously didn't want to sell ornaments for guns that you couldn't use anymore. So they went ahead and just completely stopped that operation. But the thing is, they still sell a lot of the old legendary ornaments for Bright Dust here and there. I've seen Ostringers sold and all these other guns, and now the Vow. And it's just really weird that they're selling ornaments for a gun that you literally, I don't think, can obtain. And regardless of whether or not you can obtain it, it hasn't been relevant since 2019. But anyway, Crimson Days was always one of my favorite Destiny events, and I know that's probably a hot take because, I mean, everybody loved the Dawning back in the day, and I mean, people feel, I guess, probably somewhere in the middle on Festival of the Lost. I think there's been more good Festival of the Lost events at this point than bad ones, at least. So it's kind of washed away the sour taste from the Festival of the Cost controversy days and stuff like that way back from Destiny 1. But at the end of the day, I think we all kind of liked Crimson Days at the time. Obviously, like it got stale towards the end of the time it ran, but it was mainly just a lack of innovation and things that they weren't doing in like the PvE side of the game and stuff like that. So I think if Bungie were to ever bring back Crimson Days, it could be really cool. They could do something in PvE that was like two man, and keep the Crimson Doubles playlist in. And I think everyone would kind of be happy with that at this point, especially with the fact again that we have all these events rotating in and out. I feel like it would make a lot of sense for Crimson Days to still exist in the game and still rotate in and out yearly, especially considering again they're putting these cosmetics back in the game, and they have this kind of event week every year for some reason for a Valentine's event that hasn't been in the game since 2019 or 2020, whenever the last year they decided to do it was. So I'm not really sure why they do this if they're not ever going to plan to bring the event back. It just doesn't really make sense to me. And again, like I get it, just give people a chance to get it if they weren't there. But at the same time, it's like I would much rather people just be able to actually experience Crimson Days and get that experience than for them to go in and buy something from the store or even like claim a free bundle like yesterday. And don't get me wrong, that was really cool of Bungie to give the community a cool little Valentine's Day gift. It's not a big deal or anything. Like it's not going to change the state of the game, but it is a nice gesture for them to just be like, hey, go log in and claim this free bundle. And I appreciate that. I really do. But at the same time, again, like I would really just like to see Crimson Days actually return to the game since it was one of my favorite events. And I like the aesthetic of it. I liked everything they kind of did with it. The cool little sugary shell thing back in the day where it was like a chocolate ghost, and you had the cool crimson shell that was like vibrant and all that stuff back in the day in Destiny 1, and it's still cool in Destiny 2. So I mean, I would just like to see the event come back. Like I said, at the end of the day, when they did it back in it was like the first year I was in Destiny 2, even they didn't have anything for PvE specifically. Like, there was no PvE mode, but they had little challenges you could go complete during the week where you could get, I believe it was like a Wardcliff Coil ornament if you completed the Leviathan raid during the week of Crimson Days, or during the time it ran. I don't remember how long it ran, but if you completed it during the event, you'd get a cool little Wardcliff Coil ornament. And I think there were other little things like that. Maybe there was like something for doing a Nightfall during the week or something like that. I don't remember exactly where they came from, but it was a cool thing they did where you could go and get some cool cosmetics just for playing the game. And that was one of the other things about Crimson Days is pretty much everything that you could get, you would just be able to earn throughout the week, and you didn't have to buy every single cosmetic or anything like that. And I know that was kind of a sign of the times of Destiny at the time. And obviously, if they brought it back, it would probably be more monetized than it used to be. Like, there would probably be a lot more cosmetics that were just for silver, or not, maybe not just for silver, but a lot more things that were being sold in the Eververse store that weren't just directly probably earnable like the old things were through the engram system that Eververse used to have, which was much more consumer friendly. And again, like I'm not here to die on the microtransaction hill. Trust me, I understand that's not negotiable. That's not something that we can talk about. But I just would like to see the event return in any way, shape, or form that is actually an event and not just, hey, here's the cosmetics from the event. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.